First contact and confusion. The day Earth's skies changed forever started like any other for Dr. Elara Chen. She gulped down her third cup of coffee, squinting at the holographic displays floating above her desk in the bustling medical research center. The data streaming across her vision blurred as fatigue threatened to overtake her. Dr. Chen to the director's office immediately. A voice crackled over the intercom, jolting Elara from her caffeine-induced haze. As she hurried through the corridors, whispers and worried glances followed her. Something big was happening, and apparently she was about to be at the center of it. Director Samantha Reeves, a normally unflappable woman in her 50s, paced behind her desk as Elara entered. The room's panoramic windows showcased a breathtaking view of the San Francisco skyline, but today, all eyes were focused on the massive holographic projection dominating the center of the office. Dr. Chen, thank you for coming so quickly, Reeves said, her voice tight with tension. I assume you haven't seen the news yet. Elara shook her head, her attention captured by the swirling image before her. It showed Earth, serene and blue, but above it loomed a colossal structure that defied description. It resembled a city in space, all gleaming spires and pulsing energy fields. That, Reeves said, pointing to the alien megastructure, arrived in Earth's orbit less than an hour ago. We're calling it first contact. Elara's mind reeled. Humanity had long speculated about the existence of alien life, but to have it arrive on their doorstep so suddenly was beyond anyone's wildest dreams or nightmares. Why am I here? Elara asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial shock. Reeves tapped a command, and the hologram shifted to show a new image. Alien beings, vaguely humanoid, but with iridescent scaled skin and large, multifaceted eyes, filled the display. These are the Zoxarians, Reeves explained. They've made contact and are requesting our help. Specifically, they're asking for medical assistance. Elara leaned closer, her trained eye noting the aliens' distressed postures and the way some seemed to writhe in discomfort. They're ill. That's what we need you to find out, Reeves said. You're our top xenobiologist, Dr. Chen. We need you to go up there and figure out what's wrong with them. The weight of the request hit Elara like a physical force. She was being asked to be humanity's first doctor to an alien species. The implications were staggering. When do I leave? She heard herself ask, even as her mind raced with questions and possibilities. Now, Reeves replied, gesturing to a sleek briefcase on her desk. Everything we know is in there. A shuttle is waiting to take you to the orbital station where you'll rendezvous with the Zoxarian representatives. As Elara grabbed the briefcase, Reeves caught her arm. Elara, this isn't just about medicine. You'll be Earth's ambassador in this. The fate of our species could depend on how you handle this situation. No pressure, she added with a wry smile. The next few hours passed in a blur. Elara barely had time to notify her family before she was whisked away to a top-secret launch facility. As the shuttle rocketed towards the orbiting space station, Elara's mind whirled with possibilities. What kind of biology would the Zoxarians have? How similar or different would their physiology be to Earth life? And most pressingly, what could be affecting them so severely that they'd risk exposing themselves to an unknown species for help? The docking procedure with the space station was seamless, a testament to humanity's advancements in space technology. As Elara floated through the airlock, she was met by a team of stern-faced officials in crisp uniforms. Dr. Chen, a tall, silver-haired woman, greeted her. I'm Admiral Helena Costa. Welcome to Harmony Station. Are you ready to make history? Elara nodded, trying to project confidence she didn't entirely feel. As ready as I'll ever be, Admiral. They moved swiftly through the station, passing by wide-eyed crew members who had clearly heard the news. At last, they reached a sealed airlock adorned with unfamiliar symbols. This is where we leave you, Dr. Admiral Costa said. The Zoxarians are waiting on the other side. Remember, you represent all of humanity now. Good luck. With a deep breath, Ilara stepped forward. The airlock hissed open, revealing a chamber bathed in a soft, pulsing light that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. And there, waiting for her, were 3 Zoxarians. Up close, they were even more alien and beautiful than the holograms had suggested. Their scaled skin shimmered with colors that seemed to shift and change, and their large eyes regarded her with an intelligence that was unmistakable. One of the aliens stepped forward, its movements graceful despite an obvious tremor in its limbs. When it spoke, the words came out in perfect English, though Ilara could detect no visible mouth. "Greetings, Dr. Chen of Earth," the alien said, its voice a melodious hum that seemed to resonate in Ilara's chest. "I am Kraz, Chief Medical Officer of the Zoxarian Expedition. We thank you for answering our call for aid." Ilara fought to keep her scientific excitement in check as she replied, "The pleasure is mine, Kraz. I'm honored to be here. Can you tell me more about the illness affecting your people?" Kraz's multifaceted eyes seemed to darken. "It is not precisely an illness, Dr. Chen. What afflicts us is far more complex. We require your expertise to understand why our natural processes have become so dangerously unstable." As Kraz spoke, Ilara noticed that the other 2 Zoxarians were becoming increasingly agitated. Their colors fluctuated wildly, and they seemed to be struggling to maintain their composure. "Perhaps it would be best if we continued this discussion in our medical bay," Kraz suggested, a note of urgency in its harmonious voice. Ilara nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. As they moved deeper into the alien ship, the pulsing lights grew more intense, and Ilara could feel a subtle vibration through the soles of her feet. The architecture was unlike anything she had ever seen, all flowing curves and bioluminescent surfaces. In the medical bay, Ilara was confronted with a sight that took her breath away. Dozens of Zoxarians lay on shimmering beds, their bodies contorting in what appeared to be both pain and something else. The air was thick with an intoxicating scent that made Ilara's head swim. "As you can see," Kraz said, its own composure clearly strained, "our situation is dire. We are experiencing a phenomenon that, in your language, might be described as a mating frenzy. But it is far more intense than any our species has ever recorded. It threatens to tear our society apart." Ilara's scientific mind kicked into high gear, pushing aside her awe and trepidation. "A mating frenzy. Are you saying this is a natural part of your reproductive cycle?" Kraz's colors shifted to a deep, troubled blue. "Yes and no. Our species undergoes periodic mating cycles, but they are typically controlled, predictable events. This is chaos. It began shortly after we entered your solar system. We fear something here has triggered an extreme reaction in our biology." As Ilara absorbed this information, one of the Zoxarians on a nearby bed let out a keening cry. Its body arched off the bed, scales flashing in a dizzying array of colors. The scent in the air intensified, and Ilara felt a strange warmth spreading through her body. "Dr. Chen," Kraz said, its voice strained, "we must act quickly. Not only for the sake of my people, but for yours as well. We have reason to believe that prolonged exposure to our pheromones may have unpredictable effects on human physiology." Ilara's eyes widened as the implications sank in. She was standing in the middle of an alien mating frenzy, one that could potentially affect humans as well. This was far more than a mere medical mystery. It was a potential interspecies incident waiting to happen. "I understand," Ilara said, fighting to maintain her professional demeanor, even as her body tingled with an unfamiliar sensation. "Let's get to work. I'll need full access to your medical records, samples from affected individuals, and," she paused, realizing the audacity of her next request, "and I'll need a volunteer for a comprehensive physical examination." Kraz's eyes seemed to bore into her, and for a moment, Ilara feared she had overstepped. Then, to her surprise, the alien's colors shifted to a warm, inviting gold. "I will volunteer," Kraz said, its voice taking on a husky quality that sent shivers down Ilara's spine. "After all, Dr. Chen, if we are to solve this mystery, We must be willing to engage in the most intimate of scientific collaborations. As Elara nodded, trying to ignore the sudden racing of her heart, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was standing on the precipice of something far greater and more dangerous than mere first contact. The fate of two species now rested in her hands, and the clock was ticking. Little did Dr. Elara Chen know that her journey into the depths of alien biology would challenge not only her scientific prowess, but also her understanding of love, desire, and what it truly means to be human in a vast, complex universe. Alien pheromones and human desire. Dr. Elara Chen's heart raced as she donned the iridescent biosafety suit provided by the Zoxarians. The alien material felt alive against her skin, pulsing in rhythm with her quickening breath. She couldn't shake the feeling that it was reading her somehow, learning her body's secrets. This suit will protect you from the most potent effects of our pheromones, Kraz explained, its multifaceted eyes shimmering with an emotion Elara couldn't quite place. Was it concern, or something more primal? Most potent effects? Elara asked, her scientific curiosity piqued. What exactly are we dealing with here, Kraz? The alien medical officer's scales rippled in a mesmerizing pattern. Our mating pheromones are highly evolved, Dr. Chen. They don't just trigger physical responses, they can influence emotions, heighten sensations, even alter perceptions of reality. Elara's mind reeled at the implications. You're saying these pheromones are psychoactive. That's incredible. The potential applications in human medicine alone. Focus, Doctor, Kraz interrupted, a hint of amusement in its melodious voice. We have a crisis to solve before we can consider the broader implications of our biology. Chastened, Elara nodded and followed Kraz into the heart of the Zoxarian medical bay. The scene that greeted her was both beautiful and terrifying. Dozens of aliens writhed on bioluminescent beds, their scales flashing in a dizzying array of colors. The air was thick with an intoxicating scent that even her protective suit couldn't fully filter out. By the stars, Elara breathed, her scientific detachment wavering in the face of such alien sensuality. This is like nothing I've ever seen. Kraz led her to a quiet corner where sophisticated medical equipment hummed softly. We'll start with a baseline examination of my physiology, the alien said, its voice taking on a husky quality that sent shivers down Elara's spine. I warn you, Doctor, this may be intense. As Elara began her examination, she couldn't help but marvel at the complexity of Zoxarian biology. Their bodies were a perfect blend of the familiar and the utterly alien. Beneath the shimmering scales, she discovered muscle structures not unlike those of Earth creatures, but there were organs and systems that defied her understanding. This gland here, Elara murmured, her gloved hand hovering over a pulsing organ near Kraz's midsection. What is its function? Kraz's colors shifted to a deep, mesmerizing purple. That, Dr. Chen, is the source of our mating pheromones. Usually, it's dormant, activating only during our carefully controlled breeding cycles. But now, as if on cue, the gland pulsed violently. Kraz let out a keening cry that was equal parts pain and pleasure. The air around them seemed to shimmer, and Elara felt a wave of dizziness wash over her. Kraz, she exclaimed, reaching out to steady the alien. The moment her hand touched Kraz's scales, a jolt of electricity seemed to pass between them. Elara gasped, her vision blurring at the edges. Through the haze, she saw flashes of something. Alien landscapes, strange rituals, and overwhelming sensations that her human mind struggled to process. For a moment, she felt as if she was seeing through Kraz's eyes, experiencing the world as a Zoxarian. With a supreme effort of will, Elara broke the contact. She stumbled back, her breath coming in ragged gasps. What was that? Kraz's eyes seemed to glow with an inner light. That, Dr. Chen, was a taste of what we're dealing with. Our pheromones don't just affect our bodies, they create a psychic link between compatible mates. It's how we choose our partners, how we ensure genetic compatibility. Ilara's scientific mind raced to keep up with this new information. But why is it affecting me? I'm not even of your species. That, Kras said, its voice a low rumble that Ilara felt in her bones, is the heart of our mystery. Something about your solar system, perhaps even about humans themselves, has triggered an unprecedented reaction in our biology. We're not just in a mating frenzy, we're evolving in real time. As the implications of Kras's words sank in, alarms began blaring throughout the medical bay. Ilara spun around to see chaos unfolding. Zox Aryans were rising from their beds, their bodies glowing with an otherworldly light. The air grew thick with pheromones, and even through her protective suit, Ilara felt a warmth spreading through her body. It's starting, Kras said, its voice tight with a mixture of fear and excitement. The peak of the frenzy. Dr. Chen, we need to act now, or both our species may face consequences beyond our imagining. Ilara nodded, pushing aside her own confusing feelings. She was a scientist, damn it, and she had a job to do. All right, let's start with blood samples. We need to isolate the compounds causing this reaction and… Her words were cut off as a massive tremor shook the ship. Ilara lost her footing, falling against Kras. The alien caught her, its strong arms wrapping around her protectively. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Ilara looked up into Kras's alien eyes and saw something there that transcended species, a connection, a spark of possibility. Dr. Chen, Kras said softly, its scales shimmering in a hypnotic pattern, I fear we may be running out of time. The frenzy is spreading faster than we anticipated. If we can't find a solution soon, the effects may become irreversible. Ilara swallowed hard, her mind racing. She was acutely aware of Kras's alien body pressed against hers, of the intoxicating scent filling the air despite her suit's filters. Part of her wanted to lose herself in the sensations, to give in to the alien desires awakening within her. But she couldn't. The fate of two species rested on her shoulders. With a Herculean effort, she pushed away from Kras and stumbled to the nearest medical console. Her fingers flew over the alien controls, which seemed to respond to her touch as if they were extensions of her own body. We need to synthesize an inhibitor, she said, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. Something to dampen the effects of the pheromones without causing permanent damage to your reproductive systems. Kras moved to the side, its body radiating heat that Ilara could feel even through her suit. It's not just about dampening the pheromones, Dr. Chen. We need to understand why they're affecting humans. The implications could change everything we thought we knew about interspecies compatibility. As they worked feverishly, analyzing data and running simulations, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of a discovery that would reshape the galaxy. The boundaries between human and alien were blurring, not just biologically but emotionally as well. Hours passed in a blur of scientific breakthroughs and near disasters. Ilara found herself working in perfect synchronization with Kras, their minds seeming to meld as they tackled the problem from every angle. And all the while, the attraction between them grew, a force as powerful and inexorable as gravity itself. Finally, as the ship's artificial day cycle began to brighten, Ilara let out a triumphant cry. I think I got it. A compound that should stabilize the pheromone production without interfering with your natural cycles. Kras leaned in close, its scales brushing against Ilara's suit in a way that sent tingles through her body. You've done it, Dr. Chen. You may have saved both our species. As they looked at each other, the air between them charged with unspoken possibilities, a new alarm blared to life. On the main view screen, a message flashed in angry red letters. Warning. Human CREW showing signs of pheromone exposure. Quarantine protociolus INISTATD. Ilara's eyes widened in horror. Oh no, she breathed. We're too late. The frenzy, it's affecting the humans on the station. Kras's colors darkened with concern. Then we have no choice, Dr. Chen. We must test the inhibitor immediately. on both our species. As Elara nodded, steeling herself for what was to come, she couldn't help but wonder, even if they succeeded in stopping the frenzy, could they ever go back to the way things were before? Or had this encounter changed the course of human and Zoxarian history forever? With trembling hands, Elara prepared the first dose of the inhibitor. As she raised the hypospray to Kraz's shimmering scales, their eyes met, and a silent understanding passed between them. Whatever happened next, they were in this together. Two beings from different worlds, united by science, crisis, and a connection that defied explanation. The fate of two species hung in the balance as Elara pressed the hypospray against Kraz's skin. The hiss of the injection seemed to echo through the medical bay, a sound that could herald either salvation or doom for humans and Zoxarians alike. Interstellar passion unleashed. The hypospray hissed as Elara injected the inhibitor into Kraz's shimmering scales. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, Kraz's body convulsed, its colors flashing in a dizzying kaleidoscope. "Kraz!" Elara cried, reaching out instinctively. "No," Kraz gasped, backing away. "Don't touch me, Dr. Chen. The inhibitor, it's working, but the process is volatile. One touch could undo everything." Elara watched helplessly as Kraz writhed, its body adapting to the new chemical cocktail coursing through its veins. Around them, the medical bay erupted into chaos. Alarms blared, and the air thickened with an intoxicating mist of alien pheromones. "Emergency broadcast from Earth Station Harmony," a computerized voice announced. Human crew experiencing unprecedented physiological changes, requesting immediate assistance. Elara's mind raced. The inhibitor was working on Kraz, but what about the humans? Would it have the same effect, or would it cause unforeseen complications? "Dr. Chen," Kraz said, its voice steadier now. "We need to synthesize a human-compatible version of the inhibitor, quickly." Nodding, Elara turned to the alien medical console. Her fingers danced across the bioluminescent interface, adjusting molecular structures and running simulations at lightning speed. As she worked, she felt a strange tingling in her hands, as if the alien technology was melding with her very DNA. "Fascinating," she murmured. "The interface, it's adapting to my biology. Kraz, I think your ship is learning from me." Kraz moved closer, its scales now pulsing with a calm, steady rhythm. "Our technology is semi-sentient, Dr. Chen. It evolves to meet the needs of its users. Right now, it senses the urgency of our mission." As the simulations ran, Elara became acutely aware of Kraz's proximity. Even with the inhibitor dampening its pheromones, there was an undeniable pull between them. She could feel the alien's breath on her neck, sending shivers down her spine. "Kraz," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I need to ask you something. This connection between us, is it real, or just a side effect of the pheromones?" The alien's multifaceted eyes seemed to peer into her soul. "Dr. Chen, Elara, what I feel for you transcends biology. It's a meeting of minds, of spirits. In all my cycles, I've never encountered a being like you." Elara's heart raced. She opened her mouth to respond, but at that moment, the console chimed. The human-compatible inhibitor was ready. "We need to test it," Elara said, forcing herself to focus on the task at hand. "But how? We can't risk exposing more humans to the pheromones." Kraz's colors shifted to a deep, resolute blue. "There's only one way. You must remove your protective suit and expose yourself to the full effect of our pheromones. Then we'll administer the inhibitor." Elara's eyes widened. "But the risks are necessary," Kraz finished. "Elara, you're the only one who can do this. The fate of both our species depends on it." With trembling hands, Elara began to remove her protective gear. As the last piece fell away, the full force of the Zoxarian pheromones hit her like a tidal wave. Her senses exploded in a riot of colors, scents, and sensations she had no words to describe. She saw galaxies being born and dying in the depths of Kraz's eyes. She felt the pulse of distant stars in her veins, and through it all, an overwhelming desire threatened to consume her. "Kraz," she gasped, reaching out. I can't." The alien caught her hand, its touch electric. "Focus, Elara. Remember who you are. Remember why we're here." With superhuman effort, Elara steadied herself. She grabbed the hypospray containing the human-compatible inhibitor and, before she could second-guess herself, pressed it to her neck. The effect was instantaneous and overwhelming. Elara felt as if her body was being unmade and remade on a molecular level. She cried out, collapsing into Kraz's arms. For what felt like an eternity, Elara floated in a sea of sensation. She saw the birth of the universe, the evolution of countless species, the intricate dance of atoms and stars. And through it all, she felt Kraz's presence, a steady anchor in the cosmic storm. When she finally opened her eyes, the world had changed. The pheromones still hung heavy in the air, but their effect was muted, manageable. She could think clearly again, but the connection she felt with Kraz remained, stronger than ever. "It worked," she breathed, looking up into the alien's shimmering eyes. "We did it, Kraz." Before either of them could say more, the ship's AI interrupted. "Attention. Unknown vessel approaching at high velocity. Impact imminent." Elara and Kraz rushed to the view screen. A sleek, predatory ship was bearing down on them, its design unlike anything Elara had ever seen. "Galactic pirates," Kraz hissed, its colors darkening with anger. "They must have detected the pheromone surge. They're here to steal our secrets." As the pirate ship opened fire, rocking the Zoxarian vessel, Elara realized that their troubles were far from over. They had conquered biology, but now they faced a threat from the stars themselves. "Kraz," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos erupting around them. "Whatever happens next, we face it together. Human and Zoxarian united." The alien's hand found hers, their fingers intertwining in a gesture that bridged the gap between their species. "Together," Kraz agreed. As klaxons blared and the ship shuddered under the pirate assault, Elara knew that the true test of their newfound alliance was just beginning. The inhibitor had saved them from the mating frenzy, but could their bond survive the crucible of interstellar conflict? With determination burning in her eyes, Elara squared her shoulders. She was no longer just a scientist, but a defender of two worlds, and she would fight with every ounce of her human ingenuity to protect the future she and Kraz had glimpsed together. The battle for survival, and for a love that defied the boundaries of species, was about to begin. Cosmic love and galactic warfare. The Zoxarian ship shuddered under the relentless assault of the space pirates. Elara clung to a console, her mind racing. She was a scientist, not a warrior, but the fate of two species now rested on her ability to outthink their attackers. "Kraz," she shouted over the cacophony of alarms. "Can we use the pheromones as a weapon?" The alien's eyes widened, multifaceted surfaces reflecting the chaos around them. "Brilliant, Elara. If we can weaponize the pheromones, we might be able to incapacitate the pirates without bloodshed." They worked feverishly, Elara's human intuition melding seamlessly with Kraz's alien knowledge. Their hands brushed as they manipulated holographic controls, each touch sending sparks of connection through their bodies. "Incoming transmission," the ship's AI announced. A gruff voice filled the command center. "Zoxarian vessel, surrender your pheromone technology or be destroyed. You have 1 solar minute to comply." Elara's eyes met Kraz's. A silent understanding passed between them. "Stall them," she whispered. Kraz nodded and opened a channel. "This is Chief Medical Officer Kraz. We request time to consider your demands." As Kraz engaged the pirates' in tense negotiations, Elara's fingers flew over the alien controls. She was rewriting the ship's environmental systems on the fly, preparing to flood the pirate vessel with a specially modified pheromone cocktail. 30 seconds, the pirate captain growled. Elara felt sweat beading on her forehead. The calculations were insanely complex, balancing human and Zoxarian biochemistry with the unknown variables of the pirate's physiology. 15 seconds. Almost there, Ilara muttered, her entire being focused on the task. Time's up. Prepare to be boarded. Just as the first boarding pod latched onto the Zoxarian ship's hull, Ilara slammed her hand down on the execute command. Now, Kraz. A shimmering mist erupted from hidden vents throughout both ships. The effect was instantaneous. On the view screens, they watched as pirates stumbled, their movements becoming uncoordinated. But something was wrong. Ilara felt a strange warmth spreading through her body, her vision blurring at the edges. Kraz, she gasped. I think I miscalculated. The pheromones, they're affecting me too. Kraz caught her as she stumbled, strong alien arms encircling her. Stay with me, Ilara. Focus on my voice. The world seemed to shift and swirl around her. Ilara saw impossible colors, felt the pulse of distant stars, and through it all, Kraz was her anchor, a steady presence in the cosmic storm. I see everything, Ilara whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. Kraz, is this how you perceive the universe? The alien's scales shimmered with emotion. What you're experiencing is a fraction of our reality. Our species evolved to perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously. As Ilara's consciousness expanded, she became aware of the pirates on a level beyond the physical. She could sense their confusion, their fear, and underneath it all, a deep loneliness that resonated with her own. We can end this peacefully, she realized. Kraz, help me reach out to them. Together, human and Zoxarian joined minds, reaching across the void to touch the consciousness of their attackers. It was a moment of pure transcendence, species and individual identities blurring into a cosmic tapestry of shared experience. When Ilara came back to herself, she found she was floating in the ship's command center, held securely in Kraz's arms. The pirate captain's face filled the view screen, his expression one of awe and contrition. We had no idea, he stammered. The things we've seen, the connection we felt. We withdraw our attack and offer our deepest apologies. As the pirate ship disengaged and retreated, Ilara turned to Kraz. The connection between them had deepened into something profound and unbreakable. What happens now? She asked softly. Kraz's colors shifted to a warm, inviting gold. Now, Ilara, we embark on the greatest adventure of all, the exploration of love between species, the bridging of galactic civilizations. As their lips met in a kiss that transcended biology, Ilara knew that her life would never be the same. She had come aboard this ship as a scientist seeking to solve a medical mystery. She would leave it as a pioneer of interspecies relations, her heart forever entwined with a being from the stars. The inhibitor had stopped the mating frenzy, but a new kind of passion had been born, one that promised to reshape the very fabric of galactic society. As the Zoxarian ship set a course for Earth, carrying news of first contact and the promise of a new era of cooperation, Ilara and Kraz stood hand in hand, or hand in tentacle, ready to face whatever the universe had in store for them. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, bearing witness to a love that defied the boundaries of worlds and species. It was the dawn of a new age, where the phrase star-crossed lovers would take on a whole new meaning. And as for Dr. Ilara Chen, she had embarked on a mission to cure an alien mating frenzy. She ended up finding a cosmic love that would echo across the galaxies for eons to come. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor after all, and love, in all its infinite varieties, remained the most powerful force in existence. Galactic Federation and interspecies revolution. The return to Earth was nothing short of spectacular. As the Zoxarian ship descended through the atmosphere, millions of humans gathered to witness history in the making. Holographic displays projected the scene worldwide, and the global viewership shattered all previous records. Dr. Ilara Chen stood at the forefront of the landing party, her hand intertwined with Kraz's tentacle-like appendage. The contrast between her human form and Kraz's shimmering, alien body was striking, yet there was an undeniable harmony in their connection. "Are you ready to change the world?" Kras's melodious voice resonated in Ilara's mind. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "Ready as I'll ever be. Let's make history." As they stepped onto Earth's soil, a deafening cheer erupted from the crowd. Ilara's face was plastered across every screen on the planet, alongside the exotic visage of Kraz. They had become instant celebrities, symbols of a new era of interstellar cooperation. But not everyone was thrilled with this development. As Ilara and Kraz approached the podium to address the world, a commotion broke out in the crowd. A group of protesters pushed forward, brandishing signs with xenophobic slogans. "Humans for humans," they chanted, "no alien integration." Ilara felt a surge of anger, but Kraz's calming presence washed over her. With a shared glance, they knew exactly what to do. Stepping up to the microphone, Ilara's voice rang out clear and strong. "People of Earth, I understand your fear. The unknown has always been scary. But today, we stand on the brink of the greatest adventure in human history." She paused, letting her words sink in. The Zoxarians aren't just aliens. They're partners, friends, and yes, even lovers. Their biology, their technology, their very way of perceiving the universe can revolutionize every aspect of our lives. Kraz stepped forward, its bioluminescent skin pulsing with mesmerizing patterns. When it spoke, its words were translated instantly through advanced alien tech. "We come not to conquer, but to elevate. Together, our species can achieve wonders beyond imagination." As if on cue, holographic displays lit up the sky. They showed miraculous medical procedures using Zoxarian techniques, faster-than-light travel becoming a reality, and barren planets transformed into lush paradises through alien terraforming. The crowd's mood began to shift. Excitement replaced fear, and even the protesters lowered their signs, captivated by the promise of a brighter future. But the real showstopper came next. Ilara and Kraz raised their joined hands, and suddenly, every human in the vicinity felt a jolt of alien consciousness. For a brief moment, they experienced the world through Zoxarian senses, perceiving multiple dimensions, feeling the pulse of the cosmos. When the sensation faded, the crowd was silent, awestruck. Then, a thunderous applause erupted, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. In the days that followed, Earth underwent a transformation like no other. Zoxarian embassies sprouted in major cities, their organic architecture a stark contrast to human buildings. Interspecies cultural exchanges became the hottest trend, with humans lining up to experience alien art, cuisine, and yes, even dating. Ilara and Kraz became the face of this new era, their love story captivating hearts across the galaxy. They starred in a reality show called Star-Crossed Lovers, which became the most watched program in human history. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Conservative factions pushed back against the rapid changes, and some humans reported adverse reactions to prolonged exposure to alien pheromones. Ilara found herself working around the clock, developing new treatments and refining the inhibitor that had started it all. 1 year after first contact, the United Nations convened a special session to discuss Earth's place in the galactic community. Ilara and Kraz were invited to speak, their entrance met with a standing ovation. "Distinguished delegates," Ilara began, her voice echoing through the hallowed halls. "Today, we stand at a crossroads. We can cling to our isolation, or we can embrace our destiny among the stars." Kraz continued seamlessly, their minds in perfect sync. "We propose the formation of a galactic federation, with Earth as a founding member. Together, we can tackle the greatest challenges facing our universe." The chamber erupted in debate. Some nations were eager to join, while others hesitated, fearing loss of sovereignty. As arguments heated up, Ilara felt a familiar tingling sensation. She locked eyes with Kraz, a mischievous smile playing on her lips. Without warning, they activated a hidden device. A wave of modified pheromones washed over the assembly, not to control, but to enhance empathy and open-mindedness. The effect was subtle but profound. Hours of heated debate transformed into productive dialogue. By the end of the session, the vote was unanimous. Earth would join the Galactic Federation, ushering in a new age of interstellar cooperation. As Ilara and Kraz left the UN, they were met by a sea of reporters. Dr. Chen, Kraz, what's next for humanity? Ilara grinned, feeling the thrill of infinite possibilities. Next, we reach for the stars. We cure diseases across 1,000 worlds. We unlock the secrets of the universe itself. Kraz's tentacle wrapped lovingly around Ilara's waist, and we do it all together, as one united galactic family. As they walked away, their figures silhouetted against the setting sun, Ilara couldn't help but laugh. She had signed up for a routine medical mission and ended up changing the course of human history. The camera drones circling overhead captured their final exchange, broadcasting it to billions across Earth and beyond. You know, Ilara said, her eyes twinkling, our kids are going to have one hell of a How I Met Your Mother story. Kraz's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with amusement. Bold of you to assume our reproductive systems are compatible. Oh please, Ilara scoffed playfully. After everything we've been through, I'd say the impossible is our specialty. As they shared a laugh that transcended species, the stars above seemed to twinkle in approval. The universe, vast and mysterious as it was, had just gotten a whole lot smaller and infinitely more interesting. The age of humanity had ended. The era of galactic unity had begun, and at the center of it all, an unlikely love story continued to unfold, proving that in the grand cosmic dance, there was a partner for everyone, even if they came from across the stars.